Yeah. So yeah, rule number one, in your community, in your family, you got to be a leader. In your SOI, you got to be a leader. So a lot of people, they post like scary stuff on Facebook. You got to avoid that. You got to, brighten people's day. You got to be a light to your community, and you got to broadcast hope to people, because when they get through this, that's who they're going to look for, to trust with real estate, to trust with their big financial decisions. Someone who actually understood it, so was knowledgeable, and also broadcast a message that's, understanding, like it's realistic, but it's also hopeful, saying we're going to get through this. It's not like doom and gloom. So you're going to notice like a lot of the big leaders, across the country, the big timers are doing that. So we need to be doing that on the smaller micro scale within our SOI. So like within our Facebook groups, within our community groups, like that's super important, to be that voice of reason and of hope and promise. So practice that. Like you'll notice if you follow me, like it's uplifting stuff. It's not like
your post yesterday got a ton of traction.
exactly. So and I can share those with you too. I just copied that from another peer I have back east. So like stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like, okay, let's turn this bad situation, which we're all in together, into like, okay, what positive things can we take out of it? And that's kind of being a leader. It's not like stepping down and saying, oh no, we're all going to die. Like that's not a leader. It's okay. We're in this situation. How do we overcome it, calculate it, and do it right, and help people along the way? So make sure to do that and lead your sphere of influence, lead your past clients. That's why I like calling them right now. Hey, Mr. Jones, it's Taylor. It's been great. We've worked together in the past. How are you and your family? Is there anything I can do for you? Do you need me to go to the grocery store for you? How can I serve you? We're going to get through this. It's going to be fine. Whether it takes, 2 weeks or 2 months, like it's going to be awesome. And we're going to come out this stronger, but anything you need, Mr. Jones, you call me. I'm here. And that is leadership. It's service. It's caring for people. And that Mr. Jones is going to remember that in 6 months or a year, saying, oh, Taylor's my guy. He called, he was willing to help. He wasn't like just posting negative stuff everywhere. He was actually out there, because this is going to be also where a lot of agents and salespeople stop working, because they don't know what to do. They're in paralysis analysis. They're scared. They're just going to curl up in a ball and die.
Yeah.
So
it could be beneficial, but by the end of it, because it'll take out a lot of competition.
absolutely, it will. Maybe. It's going to take out a ton of competition. So yeah, like I said, call and chat with your SOI, text them, do video calls with friends and family. So like last night we had like a video call happy hour after dinner with some of our friends that we always go out have dinner with. So we put my kids on one cell phone and did a FaceTime to their kids. And then we had our cell phone and did a FaceTime to the adults. And we hung out. It was probably like a 45-minute call hangout. And it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because, we can still lead semi-normal lives. People are getting cooped up. They want to hang out. And that's a great way. Everyone's been sitting home with their kids for a few days now. And it's like,
losing your mind.
Yeah. And kids want to talk to kids. Like our kids are losing our minds worse than us. Like my daughter's like, why can't I play with our neighbor? I'm like, because I don't know. It's just not safe right now, sweetie. And it's hard to tell that to a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So things that you can do right now with your time, if you're not calling leads, is clean up your database. People call it a database. Other people call it a data bank, because it's where you can make a lot of money if you manage it properly. So like I was saying before, you and Sammy both being in the business from different angles, you should put those all in one database, whatever CRM you want to use.
What should we use?
I wouldn't use Real Geeks. Right now I use Lion Desk. It's like $30 a month. But it's a way you can keep track and keep working them, because you're going to have downtime because you can't leave. So clean it up. Make sure everything's tagged right. Make sure, every buyer has property alerts. Every SOI or seller lead or person has a market update, so they know what their price is on their home. Cleaning that sort of stuff up is going to be super important, because you have the time.
On Lion Desk, can you do like all the stuff on Real Geeks, like do drip campaigns? And
Lion Desk, you can do drip campaigns. You can't do market updates, which is one of my big beefs with it. and I've been looking into how to get a different one. The other big one is top producer. I still haven't signed up for them, but I've been looking at them for a long time because they're like the most old school. They were the beginning of like an SOI uh, location, the database. And I think they do market reports, but I still haven't switched over from Lion Desk. But those are the two I've looked at. Basically, every CRM is the best CRM to use is the one you're actually going to use. Like you'll see that
Yeah.
all the time in groups. It's like, which one's the best? Like, well, which one will you actually use? So,
Yeah.
but finding one that does market reports that matches up with your MLS is valuable. But whatever you do, you still got to be touching your clients, your SOI. Every two, I try and do 2 times a month with like a video or a good message. We're going to be posting a video today about what we're doing in the house, and I'm going to send that out to my database probably and post it on
And
Facebook.
that's what you send through Lion Desk.
I do it through BombBomb, but you can also do it through Lion Desk.
Okay.
But that's just different ways to keep in touch with your SOI. So, like I said before, expect the best, but you got to prepare for the worst. I hope this ends super fast, but I got to do what's right for me and for my family. So I'm preparing for a worst case scenario, but I'm not hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah. Hell no.
Um, so here's
Hopefully it
some.
doesn't last more than 3 months, because I won't be able to last more than 3 months.
I don't think most people will. Like dead serious. Like that's even this morning, and as I was driving into work, I stopped to grab a coffee from like a local shop because at first I was like, yeah, I need to support local businesses that could go out of business, right? So I was eating out more, and then eventually I'm like, I got to be careful, supporting all these local businesses because maybe I run out of money too, and then I go broke too.
True.
So it's that balance between, okay, do I only help, do I take care of them before I take care of myself, or do I make sure I take care of myself also?
I'm on a Zoom.
So like and I bring that up because this morning I was grabbing an extra coffee, and then I was saying, okay, like at what point do I only drink one coffee a day? Like when do I tighten the belt that much? So things to think about.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Hold on just a sec. All right, so these are some strategies that I talked about with one of my coaches on Tuesday. So strategy number one, become the farmer. So prospecting will eventually, if we go into shelter in place, prospecting, like I said, in California, you can't do it. Like you can't call expireds, FSBOs. And I don't know if prospecting buyer leads will eventually, it depends. Some of them are going to be like, why are you calling me? We're all losing our jobs. So now's the time to, plant seeds with your SOI by doing check-ins, like I said. Make sure they're doing good because you're going to be planting seeds for the future when they are buying or selling. Second, you got to increase your effort. You got to do more. I've listened to multiple calls from different coaches around the country, and it's like to get through times like this, like they did in 2008, you got to double or triple down on your effort. So if you're only prospecting 2 hours a day before, it's time to double it to 4, because it's, those are the people you got to find qualified sellers, or motivated sellers and motivated buyers who actually need to move. And the more calls you make, the more people you talk to, the more referrals you ask for, the more likely you are to find that. So increase your effort. We all have to do a lot more if we want to make sure to be successful and make the money we need to weather this storm. Third, protect your cash and cash flow. So, I've been through bank accounts with my wife just personally, like, okay, this is how much money we have. This is where we're at in reality. And tonight I'm going to work through, tonight I'm planning a budget for the next 6 months, assuming worst case scenario. This is my current income. This is my current savings. This is projected income based on client deals. And then line that up with what are my expenses right now and where do I trim those expenses? Like I said, is it only drinking 1 cup of coffee a day? Less alcohol, less eating out. Like I was eating out a lot last week to support local business, but now I'm like, I'm eating at home now, period.
Yeah.
So these are just ideas because you got to protect your money because you got to protect your life. You know, like they say on the airplane, put on your oxygen mask first before you help the other person. So be ready for that. Manage your money. I kind of mentioned that. A great tip, go through all your weird subscriptions that you sign up for that are monthly recurring charges and see if you really need them, right? So like, because I love bicycling, I signed up for, there's this program called Training Peaks where I'm a premier member. It's $130 a year. And it was about to renew in a couple days. I got that email. I'm like, well, don't need to renew it. It's just an extra $130 that doesn't add anything to my life. It's fun to have. But you'll be surprised. Like you can go through your iPhone in the App Store and so many apps just automatically start a subscription.
Oh, I have a bunch of those.
Yeah. So it's like, do you really need them right now? Probably not, you know, and the reason I bring this up, it's like I said, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, because we can't look back in 3 months and said, well, I just wasted $200 a month on weird subscriptions and now I'm broke when I could have saved $200 a month. So.
Okay.
Jennifer,
Get
if you
rid
have
of
any
my
questions, you can.
Comcast for $180 a month.
Yeah, and I don't say this, you know, to fear monger. I just say, you know, we got to be prepared. Being 1099 employees, you know, lots of people are getting laid off. There was 3.2 million applications for unemployment. What was that number? Yeah. Anyways, those unemployment numbers just came out this morning. It's crazy. So we got to prepare for the worst. And like I said, if the COVID-19 ends in a month or two, guess what? Just turn it back on. Didn't hurt you, right? And that goes for, you know, I canceled the gym membership because I can't even go to the gym. So might as well cancel that. Make sure I'm not getting charged for it. I'm canceling car wash, weird phone subscriptions. All right. Strategy number 5 is get back to the basics. So, you know, lead generation to find motivated buyers and motivated sellers. So we got to spend more time doing it. We got to double our efforts, like I said. You know, make sure everyone has a drip campaign in your leads. Make sure everyone has listing alerts. Make sure they have you know, if they need a market alert, make sure they have that. Like the time you spend there, and shoot them a text, give them a call. Like double your efforts in those efforts, because when we do come out of this in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they're going to know who to contact, because by then it'll normalize and they'll be ready to go. Keep asking for referrals. Talk to more people. You know, in your SOI, it's still a time. Like one of my past clients and friends texted me about rates and refinancing because he's doing that right now. And I asked him, like, who do you know that I can help buy or sell real estate? He's all, no one right now, but I keep sharing your info. So keep reminding him. If you don't mention referrals to people all the time, they think you don't need them. They think you're doing fine, because a lot of times we project success, even though maybe we're not as successful, you know, or that we project success because we are successful, but we could be even more successful if we had more referrals. So be sure to ask everyone for referrals. And the easiest way is just structure conversations like that. Say, you know, when someone says, how's business? Say, oh, business is great. And it's thanks to my friends and family that provide these great referrals that help me stay in business. And through that conversation, you didn't necessarily, you let them know that referrals mean something to you, but you didn't say, give me your referrals, give me your referrals.
Yeah, you just left it in their head.
Because a lot of times, you know, they know you're closing deals, so they're not worried about giving you referrals. They don't think you need them. When you do, we all do.
Yeah.
So keep asking for referrals even through this tough time. Focus on high impact, low cost lead generation. So I've had to go through some of my personal expenses, and, you know, like I was advertising in a newspaper the last 3 months. Guess what I canceled? The newspaper. Like, have I gotten any leads off that? Maybe 1 or 2, but right now I can turn it off, and, you know, once we're out of this, I can turn it back on, because it's high impact, low cost lead generation. Like I said, lead follow-up, nurture the relationship, focus on caring and serving, come from a place of service. It's going to help a lot. When listing a home, we got to focus on event pricing rather than chasing the market down. So I don't think this will happen, but back in 2008, as the market decreased and softened, people were pricing as if it was going to be that price for the next month, rather than, okay, if the market goes down in 4 days, we need to be under contract before the market dips more. So sellers were chasing the market down as it was crashing rather than getting their house under contract immediately. So I don't think that's going to happen because our housing market is still super strong, but there could be a little dip. So when someone wants to list a house, focus on event pricing rather than letting it sit and get stale on the market. Like I said earlier, before we started the call, I checked stats 2 days ago and listings were down 21%, but pendings were up 7%. But that's also because, the last 7 to 10 days have been very fluid, right? Like those pendings are probably from 2 weeks ago more, or from even like 3 days ago before things got super tight. And now active listings have just dropped. So I recommend all of us every Sunday look at market stats. What's active? Where's the market going? Because every conversation you have, someone's going to say, oh man, what's going on? How's your job? Are you being affected? How's real estate? And the more you can speak to current market stats from the last 5 or 7 days, the more trust you build, the smarter you sound, and the more trust you build. Like, it's just, you got to know these. And when talking to a seller, they're like, well, why would I sell now? I'm just going to ride this out. It's like, well, because listings are so down and we still have buyers because of interest rates.
Yeah.
People are still buying. We need more listings. That's where it's at. And even if it's virtual, we can sell your house. So it's like this it's a special new sellers market that's emerged as of right now. Next week, it might be different because maybe we're in a shelter in place situation like California and New York. But right now, I have a listing right now that's not on the market. And our conversation on Monday was, should we list now or should we list in 2 months? Because he's flexible. And at that time, I was like, well, I don't think it's really going to matter. And then after talking to agents in California and New York and the uncertainty in the market and that listings are down, I said, we should list as soon as possible, get under contract in 5 days, and then we'll just go through the escrow period while the market fluctuates. But you'll have your property sold because we don't know what things are going to look like in 2 months. So urgency on listings is super important because we don't know what 2 months from now holds for us.
Yeah.
So next, negotiating strong deals and keeping them together, proactively closing deals. Like a lot of agents just put it under contract and then they just let it float through. And, like it's your job as an agent and it's the other agent's job too, to help hold the deal together so the buyer and seller can transact the transaction. The buyer can get their house, the seller can move on. And it's our job as real estate agents to hold those deals together. So build strong deals. I actually recently had a closing and I called the agent after it funded and recorded. And, I said, hey, the key should be there. Can you just send me the garage code? She's like, yeah. And then she said, I'm really surprised this even closed. That's what she told me. And, that just comes down to the fact that us as agents did a lot to hold together because the sellers had high emotions, the buyers had high emotions, and they're going through a lot because they have uncertainty too in their lives and in their careers. And it's us as agents, as our fiduciary duty is to do the best for our clients to get them the result they want and need. So you got to be proactive in holding deals together. You just can't let emotions run and then they fall apart. So, and if you want to talk about that more later on, we can, but keep deals together. Next, working from home can be hard. Working as real estate agents can be hard, but you got to make a schedule, time block it, and stick to it. Hold yourself accountable for that. So if you're going to be calling leads from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., stick to it. That's what you got to do. If you're going to be, whatever you're doing, time block your day to try and make that happen. The more you do that, the more I've done that in my career, the more successful I've been. Otherwise, we just wander through the day checking email, negotiating a deal, and then by the end, we've done no lead gen. Next, where are the new opportunities that might emerge, right? We know investors are still buying. Investors are like, okay, this is an opportunity. A lot of investors have money and they're like, okay, the stock market's a big mess right now. So one of my investors friends has just jumped back in the stock market, and he had taken a ton of money out of it. Now he's back in it because there's a lot of money to be made. Real estate's going to be the same. Some sellers are going to be desperate and they're going to have to sell. And, so contact your investors and say, hey, what can I help you with? What are you looking for? Do you have money? Are you interested in finding anything? And then work for that investor. Do a lot of legwork for them, and you'll find results there. Next, notice the defaults. Now is more than ever, notice the defaults. If they've already had one and now they're losing a job, it's worth a conversation with them. Vacant properties. There's different systems to figure out vacant properties, and then you can solicit them, because now that's just a liability. It probably was already a liability for the owner, but now in this uncertainty, they're like, okay, now I need to do more. I got to get rid of this because I need the cash to, survive if they're in some weird situation. Next, vacation rentals. A lot of vacation rentals have been canceled just because people don't want to travel anymore. My brother-in-law has 2 Airbnbs, and most of his is just emptied out. Like, it's just vacant now. Other things, condo hotels. So like hotel condos.
Is your Airbnb going down?
We actually don't have any right now. My wife still manages one in Park City, but it's kind of, since the ski season ended, it's vacant.
Okay.
And I even heard, like, last week I was on this Airbnb Facebook group, and they were talking about, because there's so many cancellations, they were talking about just trading Airbnb time with each other just so they could each go on vacation. Hotel condos. So we have some of those mostly in Park City, where it's like you buy a condo, and when you're not in it, they'll rent it out as if it's a hotel. Like, there's a ton of those at the base of canyons that I've actually shown. Those might be an opportunity, because that typically those owners, those second homes, they only go there, twice a year or something. So know what your investors want to buy. Talk to them and say, what are you looking to buy? And I'll start looking for you. You're going to be doing more legwork, but like I said, it's proactively finding deals. They're not going to fall in your lap right now. So that's what I wanted to cover. Any big questions I can answer? Anything I can help with?
Nope. I'm just looking at this lion desk that I'm going to go start.
I think I'm good. I think you covered like everything.
Yeah. And Jennifer, what you missed earlier, so Summit County just announced a stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
Which now you can be ticketed if you're out in a group, out in public. Typically, the next step after that is a shelter-in-place order. And that means you can't leave your house unless you're doing an essential service. California, New York, and Pennsylvania have all been shelter-in-place for probably the last 5 days. And with shelter-in-place, you have to be an essential service to be able to work. And those 3 states, real estate is not an essential service. So my peers that I coach with around there, they can't do anything. They can't work. You can't show buyers. Everything has to be from your home. So
you can still prospect and do trainings and stuff, right?
Exactly. And that's why I mentioned so hardcore, like, go through your whole CRM, make sure everyone's got a buyer drip, make sure everyone's got property alerts, touch your sphere of influence, call them, check in. How can I help? Come from a place of service, because you're going to be planting seeds for the future. But also, so Orange County, Florida, real estate is identified as an essential service. So I recommend, and I'm going to send an email out to the company about this, that we all email the Salt Lake Board and UAR saying that they need to get us classified as an essential service, because people still need to move. People still need to buy homes. And as long as we do it in a safe manner, it should be allowed. So those are the biggest things. But I'm going to probably be doing one of these every Wednesday. So I have one coaching call on Tuesday that I'll probably get a lot of the content from people around the country. But there's a lot of training you can do. There's a lot of stuff you can do for your database. So stay in those and keep touching your sphere and offering to serve, because some people will need help, and they're going to love it when you offer to help them.
Okay. Well, I'll touch base with you this next week, and I'll get on those calls.
Okay, awesome.
All
Eric,
right. Take
real
care.
quick, what was that other CRM you said? There's Lion Desk and what?
The other one was Top Producer.
I just want to kind of look, because I want to get this cranking right now.
Yeah, like Top Producer, I've been thinking about switching over to that for a while. I've just never pulled the trigger. I just hasn't been a focus of mine, but now it could be.
What do you see in Top Producer that you like compared to Lion Desk?
Market reports to like clients so they know how much their house is worth.
Does that automatically send out?
Yes. Like we can do it in Real Geeks, but I don't want to put my SOI in Real Geeks because I don't like Real Geeks that much to do that.
Okay.
But, all right, man, I gotta jump off.
All right. I'll just let me know when you want to do these. I'm open whenever.
Okay, sounds good. Talk to you.